Hi, I am Dutch, the Gaming Storyteller, and today I wanted to do something a little bit more different. Instead of talking about a faction, or maybe even a specific character, let's talk about something a bit more spicy. What, and actually who even, are the strongest 5 swords in the entirety of the Warhammer 40K setting? Before we start, I want to set a couple of house rules. First off, the weapon has to actually be shaped like a sword. Even though Void Blades from the Necrons or even Janesar's Spear might be a more powerful blade than some of these options, they sadly do not hit the criteria for a spot. Second, this tier list is actually about raw power. There are a handful of true demon killing blades, a bunch of swords that have incredible impacts on the setting, and even blades that extend the life of the carrier by technically an infinite amount of lifetimes. But I am going to mainly cover the swords that actually hold the most punch, with a couple of well-deserved honorable mentions at the end. Also, before I forget, to celebrate 20,000 subscribers, I have opened a Discord server. Link is in the description, please compose some dank memes. Now let's start this tier list of phallic steel and slicing pain. We'll start from the weakest and work our way up to the absolutely ultimate god tier level weaponry. Number 5. The Black Blade of Angron. Also known as Vuragt in the tongue of the Dark Mechanicum cult on Sarum, this massive black sword was forged in the fires of pure damnation. Crafted by the sacrifice of thousands of slaves and swaths of demonic entities, the blade was meant to be a one-of-a-kind, fit for the newly ascended Primarch Angron. Its side shimmered with dark energies, and cursed runes ran its length. Whenever the blade would sweep through crowds of loyalist defenders during the Siege of Terra, the runes would sing as new souls and broken swords were physically consumed by the blade. As the Siege of Terra concluded, the Black Blade had already consumed over 1 million souls. Angron would keep using this weapon all the way to the First War of Armageddon in the 41st millennium. Here the massive demon blade would be shattered by the direct intervention of the Grey Knights. Even though it took the lives of 5 of the legendary Astartes in one fell swoop, Angron's blade would meet its match with the young Grey Knight recruit named Hyperion. The Grey Knight managed to first snap and then completely shatter the blade with his psychic might, only barely surviving the psychic feedback from destroying such a powerful and absolutely evil weapon. Number 4. The Sword of Assur. Forged from the fires of the fall of the Eldari, the Sword of Assur was to be the very first of the infamous Dire Swords. Carried by Assurman, the Hand of Assyrian himself, the Phoenix Lord of the Dire Avengers was the most noble and ancient exarch of the original Aspect Shrines. A massive warblade that could be used in both hands, the Sword of Assur is one of the few blades in the Warhammer 40K setting that can give true death to a demon. Its edge slices through inches of steel and ceramite with terrifying ease, and the humming of psychic energies coursing through its ancient steel lends a glimpse at its true potential power. Containing the spirit stone of Assurman's own brother, Tethesis, the sword was given a true purpose in life. Tethesis would be slain by a demon during the fall of the Eldar, and his hunger for revenge and slaying of all the unborn are heavily imbued into the blade. Number 3. The Black Blade of Antweer. And yes, this is a different Black Blade. An ancient and evil relic demon sword, the Black Blade of Antweer was first discovered during the Occlusiad Wars during the 37th millennium. The Apostles of the Blind King accidentally came across the terrifying blade, and as one of their members was unlucky or maybe even too dim to understand the weapon's evil energies, with a single touch, the individual was corrupted to the very core. The possessed man launched bloody sacrificial crusades across more than 3 full Imperial sectors, only being stopped by the direct intervention of a Grey Knight strike force. The blade foresaw the turn of events and disappeared into the warp right before being captured. The Grey Knight searched wide and hard for over 3 millennia, finally capturing the sword on the death world of Tethys in the solar system. Instead of holding it within their ancient vaults on the moon of Titan, the Grey Knights realized the weapon had to be safeguarded by an extremely powerful individual instead. Garan Crow, the newly appointed Castellan champion of the Purifiers, was to be the best fit to hold the demonic blade at bay. Antweer had been used to be able to grind down any soul it came across, slowly but surely corrupting even the most loyal warriors. Yet Crow had no imperfections on his soul, and to this day has been capable of fully resisting the blade's constant temptations. Number 2. Dragon Ian, the echo of the first murder and the end of empires. Seeded into existence by the first willing murder of a human onto another human being, Dragon Ian would slowly grow in power over the many millennia of humans' development. feeding off the inevitability of the failing of any empire built by humanity throughout its history, and the whispers of hatred during the death of humanity's rivals, the demon was able to develop itself, completely separated by any and all influences of the other Chaos gods. While still capable of acting on its own free accord, Draken Ien had eyed up the Emperor for a long time, hoping that one day he might be able to possess and ultimately destroy the Man-God with the help of the other Chaos gods. As humanity ventured into the Imperial Webway project towards the end of the Great Crusade, the grave mistake of Magnus would tear a hole in the walls of reality. Draken Ien was able to manifest himself into the Webway and started stalking its endless hallways, obliterating any Mechanicum and Imperial units it came across. The Emperor acted in accordance and sent his Golden Custodes together with the mysterious Sisters of Silence to hunt down and kill the raving demon. Wounded and weary by the human counter, Draken Ien searched for a new host to possess and boost his power, finding a suitable spot in the soul of Enkir Marava, a princeps of a Reaver-class battle titan. The Black Sky tore a bloody line through the Imperial forces as the Titan turned on its once allies. The bloody betrayal did not last for long, as Draken Ien would have to retreat by the intervention of 2 more Imperial Titans. Realizing its mistake in trying to master a weapon it did not truly understand, Draken Ien switched his plan up once again. Through trial and error, Draken Ien finally managed to face the Emperor of Mankind. Draken Ien did a great number on the Man-God, but the Emperor was eventually successful in capturing the demon, blasting it with glorious gold light as Draken Ien was reshaped into a fine blade. The Emperor turned to one of his closest servants, the Custodian Ra Endymion, and rammed the blade right through his chest. The Custodian miraculously lived, and the Emperor told him to run away into the Webway and make sure that this great evil would never be found again. During the First Black Crusade towards the end of the 31st millennium, Abaddon the Despoiler would make many bloody pacts with the Dark Gods. In the shadowy crypts below the Tower of Silence, Abaddon would recover the potent demon sword and use Draken Ien's mighty powers once again. The blade is capable of slicing through any known material, quickly disintegrating force fields, flipping tanks with terrifying ease, and even cutting deeply into the gauntlets of Ultramar carried by Marneus Calgar, which were originally viewed as being completely unbreakable. Now before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions that I feel people will lose their mind over if they are not at least mentioned in the video. Woebringer, the personal sword of Khorne. A legendary and gargantuan two-handed demonic blade. It is said that Khorne can cut through reality itself with one fell sweep, allowing entire armies of Khornate demons to pour through wherever needed. The Silver Blade of the Lair, the blade that corrupted the Primarch of the 3rd Legion, Fulgrim. The Silver Blade was crafted by the ancient leaders of the Slaaneshi cult civilization known as the Lair. Fulgrim would find himself enthralled by its whispers and warm feel, realizing way too late that the sword had methodically ripped down his willpower, and had lied to him to be allowed to fully possess his Primarch form. The Anatome, a blade impregnated with the power of Nurgle himself. This blade was crafted by the mysterious Kindbrak Xenos. The Anatome would originally be stolen by Erebus of the Warbearers Legion, and as Horus's name was spoken to the blade, it was gifted to the governor of the Davin system. The blade mortally wounded Horus, which allowed Erebus to corrupt a Warmaster and turn him against his beloved father. The Dawnblade. Even though the Dawnblade isn't the strongest weapon on this list, its cultural impact truly sets it apart from the rest. Carried by the legendary Tau Commander Farsight, the ancient Necron Blade is able to siphon the life force of any victim it kills. These years of living are then imbued into its benevolent carrier, allowing the warrior to live for an eternity in exchange for constant war. For the Ethereals, this weapon symbolizes everything they stand against, allowing Farsight to live for many centuries and showing him the deep-laying corruption and selfish acts of the Ethereal caste. The Crone Swords of Morai Hag. Although individually quite strong, the Crone Swords form a much greater threat to chaos than most might actually think. If all 5 blades would be found and combined, Yvraine, the emissary of Ynit, believes she could once again fully awaken the Elder God of Death, giving the Eldari race a true shot at possibly killing the God of Access they created so long ago. Alright, back to the tier list. Number 1. Who could have guessed? Of course, it's the bright flaming sword of the Warhammer 40,000, the Emperor's Sword. A famed and widely known relic blade, this massive flaming sword was carried by the Emperor of Mankind himself during the Great Crusade, and would later be used in battling his traitorous son Horus during the dark years of the Horus heresy. Touched and imbued by the Emperor's own psychic might, bright bursts of holy flame leap over its long blade. The weapon is capable of giving true death to any demonic entity, and slices through any known material as if there would be no resistance at all. Now gifted to the resurrected Primarch Robut Guilliman, the weapon reformed and changed in size to fit his new form. The blade now stands as more than just a simple weapon, but also as a badge of office, to show the entirety of the Imperium of Mankind that Robut is now officially the chosen Imperial Regent. I hope you enjoyed this new form of content, and let me know if you'd like more tier lists similar to this. What blades would you put on this list? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to read your guys' suggestions. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget the official Gaming Storyteller Discord is now open to the public, so click the link down in the description below to come join us in what is quite frankly a very fun little place. Now, new main videos coming every week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.